After 60, your liver can lose 40% of its clearing power, and not a single line on your blood panel will tell you. That heaviness in the mornings, the fog that settles before the day has even asked anything of you, the skin that has lost its brightness, the digestion that never quite settles after a meal. These are not signs of getting old, my child. These are signs of a liver that has fallen behind in its work. And in the next few minutes, I am going to show you exactly what to do about it. 3 ordinary ingredients you likely already have in your kitchen, prepared in a specific order, and one final piece almost no one outside these hills has ever been told, that finishes what the 3 on their own cannot. My name is Mother Mary Beckford. For 55 years, I have served as a bush healer in the Blue Mountains of Jamaica, carrying the knowledge my grandmother carried from the hills above Port Antonio and her mother before her. 5 generations of healing in my hands. But I will earn that introduction by what I show you in the next 2 minutes, not before. Here is what my grandmother understood before any laboratory wrote it down. Picture your liver after 60 as a 3-worker cleaning crew quietly reduced to 1. One worker opens the drainage channels so the waste can leave. Another scrubs the surfaces where the waste has gathered. The third provides the cleansing solution that makes the scrubbing actually work. Take any one of them away, and the house stays half cleaned, no matter how hard the others try. That is what is happening to most people past 60. Not one failure, but 3 quiet declines, all happening at once. The morning drink I'm about to give you brings all 3 of them back to their stations. But here is the part almost no one is telling you, and you need to hold this in your mind for the rest of the video. Behind those 3 workers stands a 4th, the supplier. The one who hands the cleaning crew the tools they need to do the job. After the age of 60, the population of beneficial bacteria in your gut, the ones who manufacture the very compounds your liver depends on each morning, can decline by more than half. 50% gone in many people by the time they sit across from a doctor at 65 and hear the words, "Your liver looks fine." That 4th worker is the hidden cause underneath all the others. The morning drink I am about to share handles the first 3. The 4th needs something else, and I am going to tell you exactly what when we get there. Stay with me, daughter, because that part is the most important thing I will share with you in this entire video. Now the first ingredient. The order matters because each one opens the path for the next. The first is fresh ginger root, not the powder. The root, sliced or grated, steeped in simmering water for 10 minutes. The compound the laboratories call gingerol, found only in the fresh root, signals the bile to flow. Bile is the liver's drainage line. When it flows, the liver clears. When it stagnates, every meal you eat sits in the body longer than it should, and the heaviness builds. Bile flow can decline by 30 to 40% between 50 and 70. That is not your imagination. That is biology. The old healers of these mountains kept ginger close for exactly this reason. They called it the body's morning bell, the thing that wakes the cleaning crew before the day arrives. So 1 inch of fresh ginger root into a small pot of water, low simmer 10 minutes. That is the foundation. The second ingredient is moringa leaf powder, the miracle tree. What the elders on this island called the leaf of long life, gathered for those who needed the deepest restoration. Inside the leaf are compounds that wake up an enzyme inside the liver called glutathione S-transferase. This enzyme is the liver's most essential detoxification tool. It takes the waste the bile has collected and renders it safe to leave the body. By the time you reach 70, this enzyme can be operating at half the strength it had at 50. That is the second worker losing his footing. 1 rounded teaspoon of moringa leaf powder stirred into the steep ginger water after you have taken the pot completely off the heat. Never while the water is still boiling. Boiling destroys the most active compounds in the leaf before your body can use them. Heat off, then stir. The third ingredient is the juice of 1 fresh lime squeezed directly into your cup at the very end. Fresh, never bottled. The pasteurization in bottled lime juice destroys most of what makes it valuable. The vitamin C in fresh lime is the raw material your liver needs to manufacture its own glutathione, the body's primary clearing compound. Glutathione levels can fall by 30 to 40% by the age of 65. Without it, the third worker has nothing to scrub with. So the recipe is this: 2 cups of water, low simmer, 1 inch of fresh ginger, 10 minutes of steeping. Take it off the heat completely. Stir in 1 rounded teaspoon of moringa leaf powder. Pour into your cup, squeeze 1 whole lime directly into it, and drink warm on an empty stomach before any food and before any medication. If you are on blood thinners or any medication that affects the liver or thyroid medication, please speak to your doctor before adding this to your morning. A small pinch of black pepper stirred into the ginger steep increases the body's absorption of everything that follows by close to 30%, and after 60, that absorption matters more than at any earlier time in your life. Dorothy, 73, a retired school teacher from Savannah, Georgia, came to me after 3 years of what her doctor called a borderline sluggish liver. 2 pharmacy tonics had given her nothing. She started this morning drink every day, faithfully. By week 6, the fog began to thin. By week 8, the brightness in her skin had started returning. But, and this is the part you need to hear carefully, her improvement plateaued at about 70% of what she remembered from her 50s. The drink had done its work. The 3 workers were back at their stations. There was still a piece missing, and we are about to get to that piece because Dorothy's story does not end where most people would expect it to. If what I am describing sounds like the mornings you have been waking into, take 2 seconds and press subscribe. The next remedy I bring will reach you the moment it is ready. Press the button for me, daughter, and then come back. The rest of this video is the part that matters most. Now I bring you back to that 4th worker, the supplier. The one I told you about earlier, the one your gut bacteria have been quietly losing for years. Here is what the old bush healers understood before any researcher arrived in these mountains with a notebook. The gut is not a tube. The gut is a garden. And like any garden, 3 things must be present at the same time, or the garden cannot produce. You need the soil prepared and rich, ready to receive. You need the seed, the living thing that takes root inside the soil. And you need the fruit, the actual nourishment the garden creates from the work of the seed inside the soil. All 3, together or nothing grows. In the body, the soil is what the laboratories call prebiotic fiber, the food that feeds the bacteria. The seed is the probiotic itself, the living bacteria that take root inside you. The fruit is what those bacteria produce after they have settled in, the compounds the researchers call postbiotics. And these are the actual healing molecules your liver, your skin, your joints, and your immune system have been waiting for. Most people have been told only about the seed. They take a probiotic, the seed lands on dry, depleted soil, very little grows, and they wonder why their results are so modest. The morning drink I gave you, the ginger and moringa and lime, that drink prepares the soil and supports the workers. But after 60, when the population in the gut has been cut in half, the soil alone is not enough. You also need the seed. You also need the fruit. And the body, after a certain age, can no longer produce them in the quantities it once did. This is the truth almost no one is telling our generation. Now, let me tell you what I have been holding for last. For years in my own practice, I watched this same pattern. Folks would do the morning drink faithfully for months, and most would get most of the way home. But that final stubborn 20 or 30%, the deepest restoration, the part that gives you back your 50s, would not come. I tried every traditional preparation I knew, fermented tonics from my grandmother's notebook. Bitter roots the old healers swore by. They helped. They never finished the job. So I went looking. 2 years I spent reading the research, speaking with doctors I trust, testing what was on the market. Most of what I found was just the seed in a capsule, and the body of an elder cannot use the seed alone. The capsule itself is part of the problem, by the way. After 60, the digestive enzymes that break down hard pills decline along with everything else, and most of what is inside that capsule passes right through without being absorbed. What I finally found after that long search is called BoochBod. It is a kombucha gummy, not a pill. And that single difference matters more than most people realize because the body of an elder absorbs through chewing what it can no longer absorb through swallowing. Inside that gummy are all 3 pieces of the garden: the prebiotic fiber, which is the soil, Two clinically studied probiotic strains called lactospore and postbiotics LM1004, which are the seed, and the postbiotic compounds the bacteria produce, which are the fruit. All three in one daily gummy, the way the body actually needs them. It also contains dandelion root and slippery elm, two plants the bush healers of this island have known and trusted for generations. Plants my own grandmother kept in her kitchen. This is what I sent Dorothy. Within 4 weeks of adding BoochBod to her morning drink, that stubborn final 30% began to lift. She wrote to me and said, "Mother Mary, I feel like I have my 50s back." Raymond, 68, a retired postal worker from Burlington, Vermont, the same story. The morning drink alone improved his liver enzyme markers by 21%. After he added BoochBod, the markers improved by another 16% on top of that, 37% total. That is what restoration looks like when all four workers are finally back at work together. Over 30,000 people are using BoochBod now, and the makers stand behind it with a 60-day guarantee. Not 30 days, 60. 2 full months for your body to receive all three pieces of the garden and show you what it can still do. If it does not do for you what it has done for the folks I have sent it to, you send it back, no questions asked, every cent returned. The link is in the description below this video. As always, please speak with your own doctor before starting any new supplement, especially if you are taking medications. Now, 3 things the instructions almost never include. Learn from 55 years of watching what actually works in older bodies. 1. Consistency before quantity. A single teaspoon of moringa every morning for 30 days does more for the liver than 3 teaspoons twice a week. The liver heals through daily, gentle support, not through pushing. 2. Keep your mornings quiet. Cortisol rises within minutes of any morning stimulation, and at elevated levels, it actively interferes with the liver's clearing pathways. Protecting your first 30 minutes is protecting your liver. 3. After your drink, take a 10-minute walk before breakfast. The lymphatic system, which carries cleared waste out of the body alongside the liver, has no pump of its own. It depends entirely on muscle movement to flow. A gentle walk is all it asks. My people, hear me on this last part. This is not about a number on a blood panel. It is about the mornings waiting for you. The morning you step into the kitchen while the house is still quiet and feel steady in your own body. The morning your grandchild reaches for your hand and you have the energy to follow wherever they go. The morning the garden calls and your body answers without resistance. It is not too late. The liver is one of the most regenerative organs the Creator gave us at 70, at 75, at 80. The body is still listening for what it needs. You have always been the driver of this body, and you still are. Tomorrow morning, before anything else, brew the drink. Ginger steeped, heat off, moringa stirred in, lime squeezed last. Drink it warm on an empty stomach. Walk for 10 minutes. And if you want what Dorothy and Raymond and the 30,000 others have, the link to BoochBod is sitting in the description right now with that 60-day guarantee waiting underneath it. Take a look while it is in front of you. The Creator made the plants. The plants are here. All we must do is learn to listen. Go well, my people.